Good morning. Maayong gabi in the Philippines. Let's see. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Hey, that's a little better. Does anybody want to say hello? Let me know who's here and where you are. Hey, May, thank you very much. Same to you. Arlen, how are you? Hi, Eden. Good to see you. Roland, good to see you too, buddy. San Antonio, Texas. Cool. Thanks, Roland. I will do that. Good morning, Lee from Wyoming. Good to have you with us. Hey, hello, realist. How you doing? Well, today's topic, for lack of anything better, is long-distance relationships. So, how many of you are in long-distance relationships at the moment? But Vivian started out that way. Hey, Bernadette. I'm good, thank you. I wish I wasn't single, actually, Bernadette, but God had other plans for Vivian. So she's an angel now, and I'm left on this planet. Hey, Josie, good to see you. Yep, just here on this planet. Yeah, hey May. So May says she met a guy, but then he left her hanging, and after visiting, and like we were talking about last week, you have to meet in person, and probably what happened was after you met in person, that he probably didn't feel so good about the relationship. You know, that's just the way it goes. Hey, thank you, Josie. May. Yeah, realist. I tell you, it is difficult. It is difficult, and even with the modern technology today, like us being able to do what we're doing right now, or to be able to communicate, video, chat, all kinds of apps for that now, right? Viber and um, WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger, Skype, all those things. It still doesn't make it any easier. Hey, Jim, you're up in Toronto. That's right. I remember you telling me you were going. Hope you're enjoying yourself. Hey, Marianne, you're in Jeddah, huh? Cool. We have a very international crowd here at Postcards from Cebu. Yeah. Yeah. So you want to get together as soon as you can, and because you're not going to know for sure um, if she's the right eating too much, huh, Jim? You're not going to know if he's the right guy or if you're the right girl from him. And so uh, meeting is at least for a couple of weeks right away is an important thing. If you're fortunate enough to have the financial independence and stuff that you can just move to the Philippines and stay there, then that's a different ball game. But when you're talking about meeting somebody online and stuff, you pretty much got to follow up right away, And so part of this is a message to you, the Filipinas. Make sure you meet these guys. And definitely don't send money to anybody that you don't know. I mean, I send money to my family in the Philippines every month, but I know them very well. So that's a different story. Yeah, I don't know what's up there, Josie, but everybody is welcome here. So, realist, Vivian and I dealt with it by chatting a lot. Hey, Lydia, good to have you with us. We chatted a lot. At that time, we used Skype. The other apps weren't around back in the day. Hey, Raquel, Hong Kong, good to see you again. Okay, cool. So Jenilyn has a success story. I guess were you working in Cyprus? That's where he visited you there, and now you're. I guess you're an OFW, and you're going back to Philippines, and he's going to meet up with you there. That's good. That's good. That's good. That's good. But yeah, so it's important to meet, right? So, like I was saying, and somebody else was saying that the relationship turned cold after they met. Well, it may be that one or the other or both of them realized that Vivian and I chatted a lot. Hey, Roger from Nebraska, welcome. Hey, Thailand, Delhi forever. Thanks for joining us. So anyway, we chatted a lot on Skype, and then as soon as I could, I got on a plane and flew to Cebu. And we met and we really gelled and fell in love with each other, and the rest of you guys pretty much know the rest of the story because I got videos up from the right before we were married to present day. So if you want to know my story, it's pretty easy. All you got to do is go back and watch the videos. Um, yeah, thanks, Jenlyn. Yeah, it was very tough actually, but cancer is cancer, and Vivian was actually there were five sisters. Vivian was one of the five sisters. Her Vivian was the youngest, and her sister Charito passed away. I want to say in 2016. Yeah, in 2016, Vivian and I did a couple of videos from Alona Beach in Bohol, and we had already planned that trip. We were going to go to Alona Beach and hang out there and stuff. And Vivian's sister Charito, she passed away from cancer. So we had to turn around and come back for the funeral and then go back to Alona Beach. And it was the exact same cancer. They call it endometrial cancer. So. Yeah, thank you, Raquel. Hey, Marilyn, good to see you. Thanks. Good evening to you as well. So anyway, yeah, and now another one of the sisters is dealing with the cancer. So we'll see what happens there. So, and I told my kids, be very, very, very careful, especially my stepdaughter, to watch and make sure that, her menstrual cycles and all that kind of stuff are if anything changes there, go to the doctor right away. The sooner you catch it, the better. Yeah, the Asian Dating is the site where Vivian and I met. I met her on Asian Dating. And the truth is, I really didn't know. A lot of people ask me, well, a friend of mine who is in India, she asked me, she commented that I seem to only be interested in Filipinos. And the truth of the matter is, I had no idea when I first met Vivian. I, race and nationality, those things really don't matter to me. And I just happened to meet Vivian, and Vivian just happened to be a Filipina, Now, the reason that I go back to the Philippines is because I have family there now. So, I have stepchildren and sisters and brothers-in-law and cousins and nieces and, all that kind of stuff there now because, when Vivian and I got married, we had a large family in the Philippines and I have a family here in the U.S. So, but from my personal standpoint, I mean, where a person is from, what's in her heart is really what matters, And that's the important thing. And I'm not really concerned about where she's from. Um, I do tend to like um, Morena, tan skin. I love that a lot. As a matter of fact, Vivian, I used to tell her all the time that she would use those whitening creams and stuff like that, and I would say, "Why? Your skin is beautiful. You have this beautiful tan skin." She would tease me and she'd say, "Oh, you want African then?" I was like, "No, baby, I love you just the way you are," and that was good enough for me. But yeah, it's a thing in the Philippines that the girls always want to make their skin lighter for some reason, and all us guys think that the skin is beautiful and tan just the way it is. So, Marilyn has you want to make a request. If you're talking about music, I got to be careful what I play on here because of copyright things. So most people want to hear me. Hey, Ken, good to see you. Hey, Chicken, hello. Hey, Letty, good to see you. Yeah, a lot of people want me to play, songs that were on the radio and that kind of stuff, and I really can't do that for you. So, um, yeah, so Asian Dating was definitely the site where we met. Yeah, yeah. I mean, look, realist. A grown man can choose to do with his money what he wants, right? And if is you've been chatting with her long enough, and if your gut feeling is that the relationship is a real one and all that, yeah, there's no problem with sending her some bucks for a load. Um, no problem with that at all. Just you just want to be careful with it, but you have to be able to trust that the relationship is for real. That's the main thing. Yeah, whitening soap. I haven't seen whitening soap yet, but I have seen the cream. Vivian had the cream. And I told, so she was afraid to be out in the sun because she didn't want to get darker. And I'm like, well, just put sunscreen on. That works. That works really good. Yes, Maryland, that is very true. On all the dating sites, to be honest with you, there's a lot of fake profiles and people who are just looking to scam people. And we talked about that in a live stream a couple of weeks ago, I guess. That I mean, anybody can go out and grab a bunch of photos off the internet, a Google image, right, of a beautiful woman and post those up there, and it could be some guy in Africa, that's just pretending to be this person, and you know, um, that's just the way it goes. So yeah, you got to be very careful. You got to weed them out, and you know, do little things to get to know they're for real. Another one that's really funny, or that I've experienced, but and I figured it out pretty quick that it was a scam. But maybe not all of them. But the first thing they do, you say hi on the dating site, and the first thing they do is want to send you an email and send you pictures via email, and then they want you to send your pictures back to them. So this is very likely this is a person who is collecting images to set up another site on the dating site, to set up another profile. And, so my pictures I actually never did send any pictures, but it could be my pictures that she wanted to post on another profile to pretend to be me. And all of that is designed to get you to have some feelings for this person, and then they're going to hit you up to send them money. Okay. because it makes no sense to have a fake profile unless you're gonna. I mean, why go to all that trouble unless you feel like you can get some money out of it? You know. Yeah, Ken, that's true. And then, like, I think it was the realist I was talking to earlier. Um, that's what Vivian and I did. We spent a lot of time on Skype chatting with each other, and then I got on a plane and went over there. Um, the um, there's no substitute for meeting in person. I mean, that's just, to me, that's common sense. Also, that way, everything is for real, for real. Once you've been able to meet in person. But up until that point, there's a lot of feeling it out, especially with these dating sites. Arlene, you have to. She asked, "How do I know if it's a scammer or not?" I may not always know, but I'm going to err on the side of it's a scammer. And certain little things that they do kind of key off on that. Like I said, if you get a message from them and the first thing they do is want your email. I had a girl that she never asked for anything that I was chatting with, but she must have sent me 40 pictures, I think on Viber even. So that kind of, that's a little over the top. So I'm not sure what she was up to there. And then at one point she confessed that she had a boyfriend from Canada, and I'm like, well, why you even bother with me? So. Yeah, there's Maryland. There's a lot of fake profiles out there, and they're only trying to scam you. The other thing, Arlen, to think about. Well, I mean, from a guy's perspective, um, I don't know if you're asking from a girl's perspective, but from a guy's perspective, if the pictures are very provocative, very sexy, and over the top, then chances are that's not a real person, because your average Filipino would hesitate to be that risque, if you know what I mean. Yeah, a lot of fake profiles out there. Hey, John, I have an account at BDO, Banco de Oro. I don't really have any tips otherwise, but I found that Vivian and I set up an account at BDO, and with my stepdaughter. So the three of us are named on the account, and I set it up purposely so that I could transfer money with Remitly. I use Remitly because there's no fee if I do a bank-to-bank transfer. So if I transfer from my U.S. bank to my BDO account, there's no charge. So that's why I use BDO. But other than that, I don't know. I didn't really go and investigate, which bank would be best. Hey, Steve. See, Maryland's got the hots for you, huh? Well, that's a good thing. Yeah, you got to be smart and do your homework. That's right, Ken. I mean, the people are out there trying to scam you. Hi, Shen. How are you? Good to see you. Yeah, you gotta go through a lot of the fake accounts and the scam accounts and everything to find somebody. Hey, Melody, how are you? It's good to see you here. Melody is not fake. I haven't met her in person yet, but I have chatted with her, and I know she's not fake. Yeah, Marilyn, I've had that too. People that um, I think it was WhatsApp, and she told me that she had an old phone and it wouldn't accept WhatsApp. And when first of all, I mean, it didn't have a camera or something like that. But I looked it up online, and WhatsApp, you can't install it on an old phone like that. So it was BS. She just didn't want to show her face. It probably didn't match the pictures on the website. Um, hey, John, you're welcome. Thomas, how are you? Hey, Raquel. Yeah, not fake. Yeah, well, and anywhere there's this anonymity, where it's just an electronic profile. I mean, it could be whatever. So you have to take that with a grain of salt, when you're dealing with this. But there are real ones out there, and you will encounter them if you're looking. You know. Yeah, yeah, block or just don't answer. Gentlemen. Yeah, yeah. If they're reluctant to chat with you on video cam, then it's very likely that they're fake or something else is awry there. You know. Hey, Arlen. Um, do I plan on it? No, I don't have a plan either way. If it happens, it happens. But before I even think about marriage, I got to meet the right person, right? So yeah, you block them, Maryland. That's good. That's what you should do. Yeah. So oh, it's reminded me to remind you to hit that like button. I saw some likes pop up there. Thank you for that. I believe it helps the channel. I don't know why I believe that. Maybe because everybody else asks in their videos, they always say hit the like button, but I don't. I don't know if it does much of anything. Hey, Chicken Joker, how are you? Mick. Well, welcome here. Yeah, you got to meet the right person. That's for sure. And you know, I just take it one day at a time. Um, I'm not rushing anything, and I'm in no hurry, even if I am getting old. Hey, Lucille, no problem. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if you're familiar with my channel, but I my channel was pretty much about the love story between my wife Vivian and myself. And Vivian passed away last year. So a lot of women followed the channel because they like a good love story, and we had one. So anyway, all people are welcome here. Everybody's welcome. Hey, Apple. Well, you have to catch up to me sometime, and I'll show you a few things to do on the guitar. I actually have a channel that I started, and I haven't done much with it lately, but it's because I'm also a music teacher. So 2 nights a week still I teach music at night. And anyway, so I have to do some more on that channel. Thank you, Arlen. Hey, John. I don't, I'm hoping to this trip, but there are Cebu is actually, you know, internationally known as a guitar place, and there are guitar makers. They hand make guitars. There's a couple of places on Mactan Island that I'd like to visit where they hand make guitars. Maybe even buy one and bring it home. Shen wants me to serenade her to sleep. No, not tonight. Yeah, I guess I'm a chick magnet now that I'm uh hey Melody, I'm gonna wait as long as it takes. Well, we'll see. Hey William, happy Sunday. So what's the food for thought, Thomas? I wish actually teach banjo too. Banjo, mandolin, ukulele, guitar, bass. I'm not a very good banjo player though, but I can get you started. Yeah, it's going to come when it comes, you know. Yeah, yeah, yeah. A lot of guys are attracted to young Filipinas, Thomas, um, and but um, yeah, I believe that Apple. God will put the right person, send the right person to me. Hello, Priscilla. Yeah, that's there were what 12 years between Vivian and me, but she was in her 40s and I was in my 50s. So when we met, so that didn't it didn't feel like too big of an age gap between the two of us. Um, but I've seen a lot worse. I mean, a lot larger age gaps. I've never. What's the FaceTime app? Realist? I'm not familiar with that. Hey, Richard, the baby doll. Am I looking for a new one? I'm not sure what that means. Hmm. Oh, okay. So it's kind of a general term. It means any app like Viber or WhatsApp or Messenger, Facebook Messenger, stuff like that. Yeah, video chat. Yeah, I mean, those are the ways to survive these long distance relationships. Um, the normal in the normal process, or the process that Vivian and I went through. So if we just think back, we met on a dating site, Asian dating, and um, got to chatting and chatted for months on Skype, which I don't think a lot of these other apps were around back in the day when Vivian and I first met, but they certainly all are all available now. But um, my thinking was that you know even with video and everything else, I still don't know this person well enough to be able to commit to, say, getting married or something like that, or even just being boyfriend girlfriend. So I got on a plane and I went to Cebu, and we met and spent time together, and then we fell in love. And so um, that was a success story. But still, even after that, then it was a year later that we got married, and the whole time, we were um, fiance and boyfriend girlfriend. We were apart, and we still had to we used the Skype and everything um, to communicate, and that helped to keep the connection going. You know, um, plus chatting with everybody, the other people in the family and kids and everything else, and so um, that was a good one. But I mean, today it could be Messenger or WhatsApp or whatever. I mean, they all seem to work. I've used WhatsApp, Viber, Facebook Messenger. They all seem to work pretty good. So, Apple comes preloaded on an Apple iPhone. Okay, yeah, yeah, that's right. Very, very true, Thomas. You got to get off your butt and make it happen, right? And then God will help us out and guide us. But that's very true. But it doesn't happen unless somebody, like I'm saying to the guys, get on that plane, get on that plane and go over there. Whatever it is you think is holding you back, get over it and get on the plane and go meet this girl. And that's the only way that you're going to know for sure um, that things are real, you know. So otherwise, it's just fantasy, you know. Yeah, realist. Well, after a while, you're going to get to know everybody, in the family. Yeah, that's right, Steve. Don't be afraid to go. Just get on a plane and go there. There's a lot of there's I mean there's a lot of reports of terrorist activity, and I was just reading about an incident that happened speaking of Mactan Island, um, between two Koreans that were owners. Um, so my two Koreans that were owners of a resort, actually with two separate private security companies, hired had one security company went and actually shot a couple of the guys um, in the other security company, right? So yeah, um, but in Chicago, people die, 20, 30 people die every day or get shot every day. I mean, it's like um, the Philippines is compared to Chicago, it's perfectly safe, right? Would you go to Chicago? So that's the question. I mean, it's there's nothing wrong with it. I don't think. I mean, you got to be careful. You got to be. I got to you got to keep your wits about you. But you know, yeah, that's right, Thomas. Yeah, realist. Well, retired. I can relate. I'm a vet myself, not retired, but yeah, there's only so much money to play with. And I know all the Filipinos think that we're all Americans are super rich, but I'm just a working man too. So yeah, you gotta sock away the money. And actually, there's a place, and I'm not, I don't have any brand endorsements or anything like that. So this is just information that I have, but they're called ASAP tickets, ASAP tickets. Um, and they had some really good deals. They had flights from LA to Manila for like $400, 400 some bucks. Um, so they're a really good. You can check them online, asaptickets.com, I think it is. But anyway, I have they're part of what's called ITN, International Travel Network, and I have a agent there, travel agent, and she's a Filipina, as a matter of fact. So she's always scouting out the best deals and everything. So anyway, check that out. Hey Shen, yeah, I mean, you just got to keep looking. Um, so, yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, as a retired vet, man, you had to have been on a number of airplanes from time to time. I mean, everybody gets, even I was in the Navy, and even in the Navy, they put you on a plane to send you. Hey, William, October 26th, huh? That's when I'm going over November, right before Thanksgiving. All right, guys. So, tips on managing a long distance relationship. That's kind of what we've been chatting about here today. Although, just like me, you get off on tangents, which is okay because it's fun. We're just chatting anyway, right? So, we're talking about managing long distance relationships and what it's like. And I think also, like in the beginning of the relationship, there has to be uh, a great deal of trust. You have to be able to trust, another reason for meeting the person in person as soon as you can, because then you're going to know after a couple of weeks, you're going to know whether or not you can trust her, or you can, she can trust you. So yeah, it is Apple. It's tough, but you know, if you're going to do it, you're going to have to grin and bear it, right? We're going to have to work through it. And and Vivian and I did just that. That's what we did. And, you know, yeah, and then after the meeting, hopefully, Raquel saying trust, hope, and love. And yeah, after the first meeting, um, you're going to know a lot more. You're going to know a lot. You've physically been present with this person. Your heart can talk to you, your gut can talk to you, and you've seen firsthand on the ground what the situation is. I mean, you never know until you actually go and look, you know. So, and it takes time and it takes money, and that's another thing. A lot of guys, hey, Philippines, bam. The A lot of guys are afraid to spend the money. Well, you're just going to, I mean, if you want to do this, then you're going to have to spend the money. That's just the way it goes. Now, most people in the U.S. don't have any problem putting together a couple of $1,000s to go on a vacation in the Caribbean or something, or go to Florida or whatever. So I don't see it being any different. You can put together a couple $1,000s to visit your girl in the Philippines. You should be able to do that. You know. Yeah. Yeah, you got to learn to trust Apple. You sure do. Yeah, Jim, I can't tell you. But and between the Navy and working at the job that I work, which you know about, I spend a lot of time in airplanes, unfortunately. Yeah, meeting her family, that's true, Ken, and just what's going on the ground. And that's true, Raquel. I mean, what do you want? Is the question. You want to keep your couple $1,000s, or do you want to see if it's real? You know. So yeah, Ken, hey, I'm sure there are people that don't have the money, and you're right. They probably shouldn't be doing it, right? I mean, um, but it's really, I mean, in the big scheme of things, it's really not that much. I mean, um, like I said, people save a couple $1,000s to go on vacation. They can certainly just go to the Philippines. You know. Yeah, that's right, Philippines bound. I mean, you, we tend to be, in very general terms, a wealthier lot. So we should be able to pony up the bucks to make the flight. You know. Yeah, yeah, Apple. There's also um, there's also a language barrier. Um, Even though most Filipinos speak English to some extent, they don't use the language exactly the same way that Americans use it, and sometimes those kinds of um misunderstandings can happen. That's for sure. So I was always one to uh, ask Vivian again to explain whatever it was she was telling me, and then I would listen and try and reinterpret it and get past it. So yeah, but it might just be a trust issue too. Yeah, yeah, Thomas. A year sounds about right to me. Yeah, yeah, Ken. That's true. I mean, there are a lot of guys that do it and they're that try to do it with a very little income. And I mean, some of the um, YouTube channels, right? I mean, those guys. What was the guy, Peter? And you know, I mean, I don't know how they do it. I mean, and there are American homeless people in the Philippines. I mean, it's just it boggles my mind. But yeah, I mean, it's true. But I think that's more an issue of money management than it is. Well, maybe. I don't know. It could be just like psychiatric problems or whatever. These people just don't just not wired right. You know. But yeah, that's very well said, Raquel. What's in the heart is really what does count in the end. Um, so yeah, yeah, it can be difficult uh, to understand the way Filipinos use the English language versus the way Americans use it, and even sometimes with Aussies and Brits, they use the language a little bit different, and even within the United States, I mean, the Creoles in Louisiana, where I do a lot of work in Louisiana, and they got a different way of speaking too, so it can be hard to understand them all. Hey, Brian. Yeah, that's it. Can you say that differently? What did you mean? Yeah, it is. It is, and it's um, some of it is funny. Like for instance, in Vivian was Cebuano, and in Cebuano, there's no um, association of sex of male female to pronouns. So she would say something like, "Yeah, my husband, she's an engineer," you know. Which I thought, as an American, I had to laugh, but it's kind of cute actually. I thought it was, but in her language, her native language, there is no distinction between the two, he or she. You know. Yeah, that's a good point, Steve. They may not really understand everything we say, and so a lot of times you have to go back and ask questions in different ways to make sure that the communication actually went through, you know? Yeah, that's true, Jim. I mean, yeah, most of the signs and everything are in English. So, uh, yeah, that's a good point, Ken. Paying attention and asking for clarification. Hey, Priscilla. Well, cool. Glad to hear that. The the visa can take a long time. I think Vivian's took 10 months. So um, for the entire process to go through the CR1, which is what we did. Yeah, yeah. Very true, Raquel. Respect for everyone is important. Well, Brian, you can be careful if you want, but I had no problems. I had no issues with spoiling Vivian. Yeah, everybody's got a slang. Uh, yeah, that's true. The way they raise children is different than the way us Americans do it. You're absolutely correct, Tom. Thomas, Vivian was very, very special. She's a very special lady. And I'm very fortunate to have been married to her and love her still to this day. And that will probably never change, which is also another reason why it's difficult for me to just pick up another girlfriend. A lot of girls feel like they have to compete with Vivian, and there's no way they can do that because she's an angel now, you know. Yeah, Priscilla, that's right. About a year, 10 months. Vivian's took 10 months, but that was several years ago, and from what I understand, they've tightened up a lot of things there at um, was it USCIS and State Department. So may take even a little longer. No, I processed. No, I didn't use any. I don't use fixers. I did it myself. Um, if it was really convoluted or something, I might have hired an attorney, but I didn't. I just filled out the paperwork, and it took 10 months, and later, and Vivian arrived in the states. Yeah, yeah, I hear you, Jim. I mean, some of the accents and draws and stuff can be tough. Yeah, Roger, that's probably about right. A year. Like I said, Vivian's took 10 months, so that's darn near a year. Yeah, that's right, Raquel. Hey, Ken, was that a fiance visa or spousal CR1? Because from what I understand, the fiance visa, what at one time it was moving a lot faster than the CR1, but they may have all slowed down now with the new government in place and everything here. K1, okay. Yeah. So yeah, they can go a little faster than CR1. Not sure why. I don't know. With the I mean, I guess, the federal government, the U.S. government has all these rules and laws that were enacted by Congress, which, if you look at what our Congress looks like these days, it's it's no wonder nobody can understand what the hell they're talking about. And then these people that work at the USCIS and State Department got to figure out what the hell they meant, and then do their job. So I imagine it's pretty tough on them. Well, look, guys, it's been nice chatting to you today. I appreciate it. We've been going about an hour, and I don't want to go too much longer. Matter of fact, I'm going to get to the gym. And so I'm going to say goodbye, everybody. Bye. Have a great day, and I will talk to you next week. See you later. You too, Sailor.